Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another episode of Conversations with Rob. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share these podcasts. We're really working on trying to give you good, thought-out interviews. I have a special guest who I've known for quite a long time now, Emily Mcbride. She's an NASM certified trainer, and she studied exercise science, and she's going to talk about fitness today, training, eating, and we also got some fun topics we'll throw in the mix at the end. So, Emily, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. So, Emily, let's start with the conversation because obviously everybody doesn't know who you are. But tell us about where you grew up, where you're from, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, for sure. So, I am from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up there my whole life, and I moved down to Florida after I finished my degree. So I went to the University of Mississippi, where I got my bachelor's of science in exercise science. While I was there, I did an internship under a certified strength and conditioning coach. So I did work with the NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball team as well. So got some experience there. And
That's great. And I didn't know that you were working with the men's and women's basketball team. That's pretty big time. So what the viewers want to know is, when you started getting into fitness and training and all that stuff, did you grow up? I know you did that in college, but did you grow up playing sports, in your growing years? Or what got your love for fitness in general?
Yeah, so I actually was no good at sports. When I was younger, I played basketball, you know how we do when we're younger.
Sure.
And I played a little bit of volleyball. In high school, I cheered. But really, I realized I wasn't so great at the sport, like the playing aspect of it, but I liked the training part. Right. So that's kind of how I got into it. But even backing up before that, before I really, played sports for high school.
Sure.
My fitness journey really started when I could drive to the gym. I think a lot of us start exercising because there's something about our bodies that we want to change.
Sure thing.
So it's very aesthetically driven, and that's how I was too. Like I started exercising because there was something about me that I wanted to change. Right. And so that's kind of how I got my start with exercise. Right. Hired a personal trainer, and I just really dove into it and fell in love with it.
All right, so more about that, and I know your boyfriend, so we won't bring that up, but I know you've been in these muscle kind of fashion show things. I don't know if that's the correct terminology. But what is that about?
Yeah, so it's called a bodybuilding competition. So
Sure.
You have different divisions. So there's bikini for women. There's bikini, there's figure, and then there's bodybuilding. Right. So I did the bikini competition. I prepped for basically a year. So normal preps are anywhere between 4 to 16 to 20 weeks. It really depends. So I spent half a year dieting down, and then for I believe it was 5 months. Yeah, it was 5 months. I really hit the ground hard and dialed in and really started my prep. And when I did the competition, I placed 5th in my division. So if you placed within the top 5, you get nationally qualified. So I was nationally qualified for a year. But honestly, I did it, and it was such a positive experience. But I really put my heart and soul into it. Sure. And gave it 110%. And after that, I just kind of was really burnt out, which is really common with competitors too, because when you're doing so much cardio, so much weight training, and tracking your calories for such a long period of time, and then all of a sudden this show happens, and then there's no more structure after that.
So going off that and what you just talked about, we hear a lot of stuff in the news about body shaming, or you see the Dove commercials, be comfortable in your own skin. And doing that, how do you feel about that? Because you had to work out so much, and I'm sure, growing up as a female, and I know men have to deal with body shaming too, and you got to look with abs, you got to do this, and that. How did you grow up with that? Did you grow up with any person like that? And also, for the second part of the question, How did that kind of muscle competition, go with that kind of?
Yeah, so with the body shaming, I think from a young age, I realized that I didn't like the way that I looked. And it's especially hard being a female with, I mean, back then it was magazines, but now we have social media like Instagram, and it's, social media platforms are telling you that you should look a certain way and you should exercise and eat to look a certain way. And if you go into a bodybuilding competition with things that you don't like about your body that you want to change, a competition is not going to fix that. Just because you get lean, you're always going to be chasing that next, next step. Like, you're never good enough. So you have to go into a bodybuilding competition or any physique competition like that, knowing that you're confident in your skin, and
So what made you want to get into, I know you did this, and that was probably a big step on your fitness journey, as in these competitions. What made you want to get into fitness, going into college, studying exercise science, working with the men's and women's basketball team? What made you want to be a fitness trainer?
Yeah, so I actually, when I went into college and when I applied, I declared my major as psychology. But after, I guess when I got there, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with psychology. And my dad was actually like, well, you really like to work out, major in exercise science, which is not the way that you should declare your major, right? Just because you like to work out doesn't mean that you should make a career out of it, because I learned
you gotta love it and be passionate about it.
Right. And I learned very quickly that with a degree in exercise science, there's very limited career fields that you can go into. You have research, you have physical occupational therapy, athletic training, strength and conditioning coach. All of that is extremely competitive too. So I've been lucky enough to find a place where I can work, where I can use my degree, but it's doable for me, and I can use my degree.
So as far as what is your goals? Like you said, it's kind of limited as far as training, but you do have to have a goal in training, whether it's dealing with the customer and saying, hey, I really want to help this person be the best they can be. But what is the goal that you want to accomplish as far as being a fitness trainer?
Yeah, absolutely. So for my clients, like I said, I got started with with strength training and exercise for aesthetic goals, but then I realized really quickly that your health is more important than the way that you look. So with my trainers, they always with my clients, they always come to me and they want to lose weight. That's always the number one goal. And you kind of have to put it in their heads like, no, your goal really should be to get healthy, and have good movement patterns, have enough muscle, get healthy, and if you're exercising and eating right, then the weight loss is just a side effect of that. So when you focus less on your appearances and more about health, I think your fitness, your lifestyle change, your fitness journey is much more sustainable and long term.
Right. So let's talk about this. So you as being the person that's fitness, I see you all the time at a gym and working out and stuff like that. What is your favorite fitness activity to do?
Definitely strength training. Okay, so I know a lot of people love to do the cardio. They think that's going to burn the most amount of fat, but I'm telling you now, strength training should be your top priority. Yes, we need to do cardio. We need a healthy cardiovascular system, but there's so many benefits to strength training, like gaining muscle, increasing bone density, and speeding up your metabolism as you're gaining that muscle as well. So strength training definitely needs to be prioritized for men and women. Right,
so that kind of leads into another question I was thinking of. You go into the gym, you go to the free weights, you always see men there, majority. Well, there are women that obviously do use the free weights. What do you tell these women? I meet these girls all the time, and I don't know if this is the correct political correctness, but I'll just say I tell it like it is. We meet girls, and a lot of girls say they don't want to get buffed, they don't want to get jacked, which is fine. I can see that, but like you said, you do have to work out and get a little bit of muscle tone there. What do you tell these girls and that say women even too that say that to you?
Yeah, so that's actually really common. They're scared that they'll get quote unquote bulky, and they say that they just want to tone your muscles don't, this is what I tell them. I say your muscles don't tone. They do one of two things. They either atrophy or hypertrophy. Atrophy is when your muscles break down. Hypertrophy is increasing that muscle mass. They get stronger.
Sure.
So you can't tone your body. Your muscles will either hypertrophy or atrophy. Going along with that, women don't have as much testosterone as men. We have
Right.
different hormones than men. So our muscles, we literally physically cannot get bulky. So when you see these women that are quote unquote bulky, they have a lot of muscle. A lot of times that's because they're taking exogenous hormones and things like that, and performance drugs, things like that. So that's why they're getting that bulky, quote unquote. And you know, I always tell women it's so important for women especially to lift weights, because as we get older, it's very common for us to get osteoporosis when we go through menopause. So like I said, strength training builds that bone density, so it kind of combats the inevitable osteoporosis.
Right. So you come in, so even for instance me, I come in and meet you and say, hey, I want that training. What do you do? What kind of information do you give to the first client? Ask, or maybe even ask them, say, as far as when you first meet them as a client?
Yeah, absolutely. So we go over all the clinical things, like I have them fill out a PARQ, which is just a pre-activity screening questionnaire, and it talks about if they have any previous injuries or any diseases such as cardiovascular disease or high blood pressure, high blood sugar, things like that. So we go over all that clinical stuff, and that's good to know. We have to know that kind of thing with training. But something else that I do with them is kind of talk about their past exercise history. So I want to know what they used to do when they exercise, what they are currently doing, and also more importantly what their goals are, so that we can get there. And I also kind of talk about their nutrition a little bit as well.
So when you meet that person, is it mostly men or is it women, or do you even for a third kind of question, do you meet somebody and say, hey, maybe you're not the right fit, maybe look into someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's mostly women that I train. Now I train either men or women. It really doesn't matter, because men and women, despite popular belief, should train the same way.
Sure.
So, but I guess just lately I've been mostly training women. And yeah, what was the next question?
Oh no, I was just saying, do you meet somebody and say, hey, maybe this person's not the right fit.
Right.
I'm more specialized in this aspect of training. Maybe you should look at someone else that's more specifically specialized in a different type of training.
Yeah, definitely. So as a good personal trainer, you can't be afraid to say, I don't know the answer, let me find out for you. That's my biggest thing, because we don't know everything, and in this field, it's a science field, so it's constantly changing. So if there is somebody that I don't feel like I know how to train, then I will pass them on to another trainer that maybe knows more than me, and I'm not afraid to say, like, I'm not sure, I think this person would be better for you. But also, you know, if I'm working with somebody and they ask me a question, I'm not just going to make something up. I want to be honest with them. So saying to them, I don't know, let me find the answer for you, and then next week when you train them, you have the answer to their fitness question, or you can find out a different or a better modality to train them. You just have to be able to say, I'm not sure, let me find out.
Now, do you train a certain age that you've usually kind of been, most people in that certain age bracket have been, you know, coming to you for training, or is it, you know, all ages that you feel like you would be able to help the most?
Yeah, so I actually train all ages. I train anywhere from the age of 13 to the age of 60 or greater. So I train all ages.
What age limit, what age range do you have now? I know you just said that big age, but more so as like client list. Do you have more like younger people, older people right now?
So I have a little bit of everything, honestly. I have younger people, mid-30s, and you know, 50s as well.
So let's talk more about the clients. So, you know, some people work out at the gym and they'll fit in with you, and, you know, your personality fits with them like peanut butter and jelly, and it works out. Whereas some other people, you know, they might be scared of you because you're the trainer and you're going to show them all this stuff, and they're not used to lifting weights and running and working out. How do you motivate those people that are first coming into the gym? They haven't worked out in a long time, haven't lifted weights, their strength is not really that well put together right now. How do you motivate those people when, hey, they lift that weight and they just can't do maybe 5 pounds?
Yeah, so I actually do have a client like that right now, and with people like that who are previously untrained, we really do a lot of corrective exercises just to help them have
the form?
Better form and better spatial awareness, realizing where your limbs are in space so that you can have correct form.
Right.
So when you do those simple things to correct their form and correct their exercise habits, then they see improvements pretty quickly, and so it's really motivating for them to say, oh, well, 3 weeks ago you weren't able to do this kind of move correctly, and now you do it so well. And that's definitely motivating, just seeing those little changes. So.
Right. So what is your favorite workout to do when you're in the gym?
So my favorite workout is going to be the Bulgarian split squat. Now what
is that for people that don't know?
Yeah, so the Bulgarian split squat is a lower body movement, and it basically, well, let me start with, you have one foot on the ground, and then your back foot is propped up on, say, a box or something like that. And so it looks kind of like a lunge, except your back foot is propped up onto a box, and you'll just lunge down, bending your knee, and then popping right back up.
Right.
This is an amazing exercise to warm you up for your bigger lifts, like your squat, because a lot of times we do have these hip imbalances where maybe one side of our body is stronger than the other. So it's a unilateral exercise that will increase strength evenly on both sides. So yeah, warming up with a Bulgarian split squat before you do your squats can really improve your hip mobility and unilateral strength as well.
So let's go big into, and this is my thing, is you listen on TV, you talk to various doctors or even trainers, and a lot of them say that eating is the biggest thing. As far as losing weight, keeping that six-pack, just keeping your body frame in general is mostly eating. And I'm sure you know all the high fructose corn syrup, all the bad stuff that they put in all kinds of different foods that we eat, and if it's all about reading the label. What do you tell that to your clients and say, hey, it's really important what you eat? I mean, you can come over here and run 10 miles and lift 400 pounds, but you go back and you eat McDonald's every day, you're still going to be fat, you're still not going to look what you could look if you were watching what you eat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've all heard the saying that it's 80% 80% diet, 20% exercise. So, if you can lift all the weight in the world and do all the cardio, but if you're not eating right, you're not going to see results. I mean, plain and simple. So it is mostly nutrition. That's one thing that is frustrating to me as a personal trainer, and I'm sure other personal trainers as well can relate, is, you have this client and you're training so well, but they're not seeing any results. And it's usually because of something external,
So do you go into,
know about.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Do you go into those meetings like when you even if it's the first time and say, hey, what are you eating? And they tell you. And then even when you go into if they're eating junk, and then when you come in the next time they say, hey, or they say, like they said, we haven't seen any results. Do you ask them, say, hey, well, are you still eating Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's every day?
So with that, I can't give, detailed and personalized nutrition advice because I'm not a registered dietitian. However, I can say, this is the recommended daily amount of carbohydrates you're supposed to eat, protein and fat, and I can make recommendations of, healthier options and things like that, but I can't give, an exact diet plan. I'm not certified to do that. But yeah, so with their eating habits, I like to do little steps at a time. So little small goals to get to that larger goal. So if they eat, say, 5 meals out a week, Then I'll say, okay, well, what I want you to do this week is go to the grocery store, buy breakfast food. Just make your breakfast. Make your breakfast at home and continue everything else as you're doing.
You should, yeah.
So making those little changes to affect that greater goal, so little bits at a time.
So let me ask you this. You go into any gym in the country, you look on the shelves, they got energy drinks, they got cookies with protein powder in, cupcakes with protein powder, whatever. I mean, and then you look, and you know, I was told in college by one of the trainers that worked in the athletic department there, and he said, if you don't know or you can't read or say what's on the label, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah.
And first of all, in general, in your personal life, do you kind of abide by that? And second of all, what is all this junk in all these gyms that they sell all these energy drinks? You feel like you drink one. I don't really drink that because I don't believe in that stuff. But I have drinking one of those before, and you drink it and you feel like you're ready to run through the brick wall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is your take as far as being, I know you say you're not a nutritionalist,
Yeah.
but what is your take in general about people eating all this stuff that who knows what the heck is eating it? And how do you find good protein in a store or a fitness gym?
Yeah. So it really depends on your dietary preferences and what you like to eat, I guess. So I know a lot of people are vegan, or a lot of people don't have dairy, things like that. So they're not going to choose the whey protein. But as far as, you know, the choices on the shelf of things that you don't know what's in it, I would definitely just, if you want to purchase a new product, do your research on all the ingredients. I mean, it's all got their ingredients listed. So do your research. And also, they all say, you know, talk to your doctor first before you take any of the supplements. And I'll tell you, with the pre-workout drinks like that, the main ingredient that makes you feel like you're going to run through a wall is caffeine. So if you don't want to have a pre-workout or any powders or anything like that, then coffee is an amazing, it's been shown scientifically to be an amazing pre-workout drink as well. So, I mean, the main ingredient in pre-workout is caffeine, and sometimes you'll have beta-alanine, which gives you like those tingles.
But
and
that's gotta be not good for you. You have all that in your body, or consistently taking that, you know, every day or a couple of times a week. That's gotta be not good for you.
Right, and I don't know the scientific studies on that.
That's fair. I'm not trying to press you.
No, you're good. I don't know the scientific studies on that. Again, ask your doctor. I know a lot of pre-workouts will say to cycle on and off of them as well. So a lot of them even recommend that you don't take them for long periods of time, sometimes 4 weeks at a time, and then you cycle off for 4 weeks too.
Fair enough. So what's your ultimate goal in fitness? What do you want to achieve as far as your fitness goal in general? Is it something, it doesn't have to be as far as a trainer, it could be in the gym or, you know, some kind of aspect?
Yeah, so I've always been, again, aesthetically driven. So my goal was always to look a certain way, but after doing my bodybuilding competition, and actually with being around older adults as well, you kind of realize that the most important goal and the most important thing that we have is our health. So my goal overall is just to be healthy, to move well, be a well-rounded athlete, and just to have my health.
So I do have about 3 questions that it's stuff going on at the gym, and you're not prepared for these. So,
oh no. Okay.
But these are gyms in general. Your boyfriend works out pretty well.
Yeah.
You guys work out together sometimes. Do you feel like that's good for a relationship to work out, boyfriend or girlfriend? Do you feel like you guys have different goals, or how does that work out in general? I'm not trying to put you on the spot,
okay.
But it's good for the viewers to know.
So for me, it depends on everybody. So for me, it is good for me. I've always said, like, I don't think I could date anybody that doesn't exercise, just not because of the aesthetics, not because it makes you look great, but because you have that goal together, and it's something that you both love that you can do together.
You do it every day.
Yeah, and it's something that you can bond over, you know?
So you feel that helps the relationship out, that you guys both have that love and that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
you know, we each just push each other to be better and stronger, and we feed off each other, and we learn from each other too.
All right. So I just question like that. Second question is, we go into gyms. You see girls and guys do this. You see the guys that they're all dressed up and they're look like they're ready to go to a fashion show when they walk in the gym. You see the girls wearing some really seriously intense tight clothes
Yeah.
at the top and the bottom. As far as workout clothes, what do you use your personal thought about people that go to the gym and get all dolled up? Are they putting on my thing is, and I don't know if this will be politically correct, is some people are trying to impress other people at the gym more so than working out hard. Quick story, and I think you'll get a kick out of this. I used to work at my college gym. There was a girl that used to walk in there with really tight clothes at the top and the bottom, and she would kind of go into the mirror, wouldn't work out too much, would lift up kind of little weights and like kind of move her butt around.
Yeah.
And it was a little strange, but you know, every gym you go to, whether it's LA Fitness or wherever, you see the same stuff going on with guys and girls. What's your take on that?
So honestly, I can't speak for that girl,
No,
but
just right.
I know that
But you're a girl, so you
Yeah.
could talk about girls. I could talk about guys.
So
right?
I think that in the gym you should wear whatever makes you feel your most confident, because
Okay,
that's
fair
where
enough.
confidence is built. Okay, like for me, that's where I got my confidence is in the gym.
Alright.
So you wear whatever makes you happy, whether that's a baggy t-shirt and sweatpants, or a crop top and leggings,
Okay.
or something like that.
Alright.
And I know a lot of people that just wear the small outfits, the muscle shirts, just so that they can see their muscles when they're lifting.
Right.
So I mean, a lot of times, and for me too, it's a confidence thing. I wear what's going to make me feel best, because when I feel my best and when I feel like I look my best, then I have the best workouts.
Right.
So it's kind of a different spin on it. I don't think you're expecting.
That's fair. No, I'll agree to disagree with that. I do agree with partially what you said, but I do disagree with. I think people are still trying to put on a show for themselves and the other people.
And it's different for everybody.
Agreed.
For sure.
You go in the gym as a trainer, you see these guys and girls working out, and their form is just terrible. How do you walk by these people and you're like, oh, someone's really going to get hurt at, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but some point in time, this person is not using this machine correctly. What do you do when you see these people?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really hard to walk by and see that and not say something, but I would get so annoyed when people would come by and give unsolicited advice.
True, yeah.
So I can't stand that. So if somebody comes up to me and they want to know how to do something, oh my gosh, I'd love to help you. But if you're doing your workouts and, you're in your own world, I'm not going to interrupt you unless you are a danger to yourself or somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I just worry about, you see some people, like you said, and you walk by and you're like, someday that's going to catch up and you're going to move that shoulder and it's going to go pop out or something's going to happen. But I'm sure you see that all the time, every day of the week.
Yeah, I do every day, and you have to let it go. You have to let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
So, last question as far as the gym goes. You're taken right now, but there's a lot of girls that aren't taken in the gym. And they walk around the gym and, they're good-looking girls. Some guys eyeing them, staring them down, may just stare them down, may come up to them and try to spit some game at them. Mm-hmm. Has this happened to you? And for our female listeners, how do you kind of push the guy away? This is not a nightclub. This is not Tinder. This is not Bumble. I'm trying to work out.
Yeah, so it has happened before, and I mean, you have to be nice to them, but I guess not too nice. What I always say is, the people who look like they've spent a lot of time in the gym are the people who, and I guess how do I say this?
Okay.
The people who are in the gym and working hard are there to work hard.
Right.
And I think it should be, hopefully, very obvious who is seeking attention and who's there to just get a good workout in and then go home.
So nothing extreme has happened where you had to say, hey, guy, get away from me. It's time to
No, but
move
if that's
on.
a problem, then I put a hat real low on my head and put my earbuds back in.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Because I know that, guys do that from time to time. It's mostly men, we'll be honest. As a guy, I'll say it's mostly men that do that, and they try to, like, eye girls down. And you can agree with this or disagree that, most, if I'm staring you down in the gym, I don't think that's going to make you feel comfortable, first of all, or back up to me or anything.
Yeah, let me tell you, girls can feel it when you're looking at them. Okay, so if they're not making eye contact back, then maybe just let that one go and try the next one.
No, I hear you. So I just wanted to get a female point of view because I know that happens all the time in gyms. But let's go toward the end of the interview. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is definitely 100% ice cream.
Okay. I was going to ask you what your favorite cheap food is, but I guess that probably hits both.
I don't know. Ben & Jerry's is not that cheap.
Well, cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah, it's my accent.
Yeah, cheap. Okay, so ice cream for sure is my favorite. I don't know why I love it so much. And I'm definitely more of a sweets person than a savory person.
How about a real food, like a full grain food? That could be the cheap food. Let's talk about that.
Oh, like a healthy food.
Yes.
My favorite healthy food?
Yes.
Wow, I went to the cheap food quick.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah.
Let's see, healthy food. I think probably sweet potatoes are my favorite healthy food. I love those. But yeah.
All right, fair enough.
My favorite.
Do you cook, and if you do, what is the favorite movie? What is your favorite food that you cook?
Yeah, so I do cook. I cook most of my own meals.
Sure.
And my favorite thing, well, probably the easiest thing that I always have in my fridge, actually, we'll say, is chicken. And I actually, because, it's just such a good, clean protein source, and it's just purely protein with trace amounts of fat. So I always have that in my fridge, just cooked and ready to go. The best way to do it is to put it in a crock pot with some salsa and just let it cook overnight. Always have that ready to go. So,
you prepare all your meals before.
Yeah, and if I'm short on time, if you're short on time, then you're gonna go through the drive-through or something like that. Just get something quick. But if you have something in your fridge already made, then it's just easy to grab and go.
I wish I asked you that. If you were short on time, if you had to go to a fast food place, I guess we'll ask that as the last question.
Yeah.
What is the kind of meal that you should get? What fast food place do you kind of... I know you're not a nutritionist, but, for you, you're short on time, you got to get fast food. What place would you go to, and what would you get?
Yeah, sure. So what I want you to think about at every meal is how am I going to get my protein, number one, how am I going to get my carbs, and how am I going to get my fat? So probably my favorite, I guess, fast food would be Chipotle.
Yeah,
there's a lot of sodium in it, so it's kind of a toss-up. There's a lot of sodium in it, but when I go there, I'll usually get a bowl to go. You can also get a salad, but I'll get white rice, chicken or steak, some veggies, lettuce, maybe a little bit of cheese and salsa. Just kind of keep it really clean and simple. You can really go overboard if you get the burrito with the guac and the sour cream and all that.
Right, because that's all kind of not great for you.
Yeah.
All right, so Emily, that's the end of this interview. I want to thank you for this, for giving you the time. Can the viewers find you on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be, if they have any kind of want any tips rather, or kind of schedule you as a trainer?
Yeah, for sure. So I am not on Twitter. I don't tweet. So
fair enough.
I'm on Facebook as Emily Mcbride, and I'm on Instagram as well. It's Mcbride_EM.
So everybody follow Emily, and if you have any questions for her, get a hold of her. She's very knowledgeable on her field. And I want to thank you again, and everybody subscribe, like, and comment this, pass this around so we can get Emily to help more people as far as their fitness journeys and for questions as far as health in general. So Emily, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.